What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing? Glad to have you here another day, another Dolphins podcast, right? We will be breaking down the final 53 projections as far as the team is right now. I seriously hope and pray that the Miami Dolphins will make a few more roster moves after final cuts. I hope this isn't a finished product by any means, but going from today, we're going to break down the team and see what it would look like the final 53. Joe R, what's up? Michael Lombardo, what's up? Glenn, good morning. Michael or Shake, good morning. How is everybody doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. We'll be talking about practice yesterday. Tua had a rough outing. We got joint practice with the Jaguars today. Who's going to be healthy for the season opener? Who's going to be ready? Who's not going to be ready? And on my final 53, obviously, there's going to be a couple players that probably get put on injured reserve, so that will open up some roster spots for other guys. And again, I'm seriously hoping that the Miami Dolphins add some kind of offensive line depth and find a starting caliber corner somewhere, whether it's via trade, roster release, something needs to happen to shore up our backfield on the defensive side of the ball. Because as good as our front seven is, and I think we can all admit that our front seven has the chance to be very, very good. Our front seven has the opportunity to be dynamic, dominant, but I think we know that good football teams with great quarterbacks will find a way to take advantage of our defensive backs no matter how good our pass rush is. You know what I mean? Sean, good morning. Michael K, good morning. Yeah, let Michael K tell it. Let Michael K tell it. Michael K's all-knowing. Just know you're one hit away from being a 6-win team, Michael K. You let Josh Allen take the right hit and you'll be a 6-win team. Believe that. I don't wish that on Josh Allen whatsoever. I'm not one of those guys that hope for Josh Allen to get hurt so we have a chance at the division. That's not me. I want to beat the Bills at top strength. It's not the same if we go and beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen ain't there. I don't feel good about that. Glenn says, I think this team is happy with what they have. You might not see what they are seeing. Well, that's the problem, Glenn, right? Because they were all right with the offensive line, and look how that turned out last year, right? I don't want Josh. I think you get on your high horse like you guys are guaranteed 15 wins or something. Now, I was on yesterday with your favorite person in the world, Dan Mitchell. I was on the AFC East roundtable last night, and Dan Mitchell saying you guys are going 15-2. I don't see it. And I know that you guys are favored in all your football games. I know this. But I just don't see how 15-2 is in the cards for you guys. Michael K's excuses already got a bunch of bets. Michael K ain't trying to bet that. because he know deep down in his delusional heart, his casual fan heart, that the Miami Dolphins are more than a 6-win team. And I couldn't believe how many fans out there, and please tell me if I'm just being a homer or if I'm just being a fan of the Miami Dolphins. But when I was over on the AFC roundtable last night, how many people actually believe that we are the worst team in this division? And Sean, that I see you 12-5, 13-4. If everything goes right. If everything goes right. If Josh Allen plays at the exact same level he did last year, 12-5, 13-4, I see you guys at that. I see the Bills as a 12-13 win team if as long as Josh Allen continues to play at the high level that he played at last year. Now, Josh Allen's going to put up stats, right? Josh Allen's going to get you rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen's going to throw for a bunch of passing touchdowns. But what I'm talking about as far as Josh Allen continuing to play at a high level is the turnovers. Because until last year, Josh Allen turned the football over at a pretty high clip. Now, last year, he was able to get that under control, and you guys were fantastic. You were better than what your team actually was. I don't think the Buffalo Bills team was that great last year. Josh Allen was just phenomenal. And obviously, he won the MVP. $13 should be the highest anyone predicts, even coming off the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, chances are there's gonna be one or two games that you're gonna lose just because the other team plays better than you, and then you got to factor in one or two games that you lose just because the other team, maybe you had an off day, and the other team outperformed themselves. You know what I mean? So 15 wins, I don't see them. 15 is hard to do, especially with their schedule. And like I said, they're favored in all their games, but still, in all, I see 5-6 games on that schedule that I would not be surprised if they lost. Do I expect them to lose them? No, not necessarily. I expect them to lose the Baltimore. I expect them to lose week 3 to Miami. And I truly believe that the Dolphins can knock them off week 3. But you got games against Atlanta. Who knows? Atlanta runs the ball very well. Buffalo's struggles against the run, and I know Buffalo added a lot along their defensive line. But that's a game that the Bills should win. I think the Bills will win, but it's a game that Buffalo could drop. Tampa Bay. Do I think Tampa Bay is better than Buffalo? No. Do I think that Buffalo is going to win that game? Yes. But it's a game that Buffalo could lose. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Buffalo typically drops one to New England. So it's not out the realm of possibility that the Buffalo Bills lose an extra game, especially if Josh Allen is the Josh Allen that we've all know that he can be, and that's a high turnover quarterback. Listen, again, the Miami Dolphins typically play the Buffalo Bills good one time a year, and we come very close to beating them. And I'm going to have faith that we pull off the upset. You guys are favored, and there's a good chance you guys win. Listen, Sean, I'm not trying to, I'm going to say that Buffalo's going to win this division until Miami proves that they can win the division. But to say that Miami should never expect to beat Buffalo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Shoot, we're due for a lucky one. At the very least, we're due for a lucky one. Good morning, JD. We're due to get lucky. But look at in Buffalo last year. We were a Jordan Poyer stupid, unsportsmanlike conduct away from beating Buffalo last year in Buffalo. The year before that, in the snowball game, we should have beat Buffalo that game. So it's not like we haven't been close. The year before that, in the playoffs, we lost by 3 with a backup quarterback. So it's not crazy that we can beat. It's not unthinkable that we can beat Buffalo. Buffalo aren't these gods. Yes, Buffalo typically smacks us 1 game a year. But the other game, we come close. Big C, we have no corners. Wait until we make some moves before you spread them feathers and fly. Listen, Jason Marshall Jr. has been improving. Jack Jones is improving. Storm Duck. Do I think these guys are good enough to last a whole season and do what we need them to do? No. But this team, currently constructed, if healthy, which I expect them to be fairly healthy week 3, they could beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, if they played 10 times, would Buffalo beat them 8? Probably. But I'm counting on that one time, baby. One time. That one time. Of course, Buffalo gets the edge, Sean. Of course, Buffalo's getting the edge. Listen, when I go to Buffalo, I'm going to be ready to walk out that building with an L. But I'm going to go into that building believing that we're going to win that football game. Well, we'll see, Michael K. We'll see. I'm gonna break you guys off something early. This has nothing to really do with this show, but the show that me and Mike Jones do, Laces Out Live. We got a new intro video, and I wanted to share it with you guys and see what you guys thought. Now the video is similar, but it's got a new background. We got new music for it. Yeah, Joe R. Yeah, that's my cousin, Mike Jones. That's his real name. But here, take a look at it. Let me know what you think. And this is the new intro for Laces Out. Here we go.
Big C and Mike Jones, they call the plays in the zone. Spit facts, no cap, straight to the bone. Gritter, roaring gossip, the field's their home. Huddle up, press play, you're never alone. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. NFL drama, they break it down surgical. Draft day whispers, moves so tactical. Receiver stretching arms, catches vertical. Big C's laugh hitting, vibes so magical. Mike Jones got stats like a human playbook. Big C's insight sharper than a no-look. Halftime debates, better than they should. You fumble the podcast, now you misunderstood. Flags fly, refs blind, penalty stack. They calling out the calls, no sugar, just facts. Fantasy picks, who's carrying the pack? Every week they hit harder than a linebacker smack. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Laces out, the mic stays hot. Breaking down the game, every yard, every plot. From kickoffs to OT, they never forgot. Tune into the squad, this the spot. Sunday sermons, but the church is turf. From Lambeau chills to Miami surf. Quarterback questions, they dissect the worth. Dropping gems like they mine the earth. Laces is out, the mic stays hot, breaking down the game, every yard, every plot, from kickoffs to OT.
What do you think, guys? What do you think? What do you guys think? That's all right? Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. Timothy, thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, make sure you guys, I noticed that a lot of people watched it over on the Fin Posse. It won't be on here Friday. When we go live Friday, it's not going to be on Fin Posse. You're going to have to go to the Game Changers. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Of course, you don't got nothing nice to say, Michael K. That's why I can't take your takes as a football fan realistically, because you can't ever be real. Now, if it's trash, it's trash. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's talk about practice yesterday. Tua had a rough day. Uncharacteristically not very accurate. Had a couple picks. Darren Waller was activated. I don't think he will practice until next week. I don't believe that they're gonna have him take. They're gonna have him playing in the joint practices. I just think that's too much for his first practices back. What else? Austin Jackson was seen in a walking boot. That's tough. The season is right around the corner, and the fact that Austin Jackson is still in a walking boot, that is rough. Saw a report Miami's in on Brian Robinson from Washington. Again, I could see that, Sean, and it kind of makes sense. A-Chain's Achilles are not Achilles, not yet. A-Chain's Achilles, I keep saying Achilles, Jesus, knock on wood. A-Chain's calf injury, those injuries are very tricky. And if you rush it back, if you come back too soon, you end up having an Achilles injury, right? And that would be devastating for this football team. That would be devastating for this football team. So he needs to be able to rest that. Jalen Wright has not looked great. There's a chance that he loses his his number 2 spot to Ali Gordon, and that's not very much depth. And that's why I wasn't a big fan of letting Mostert go. Everybody was ready to let Mostert go. And Mostert had an injury-plagued bad season last year, right? He struggled to hold on to the football. He was injured for most of the season. But I loved Mostert. I think Mostert and Achane were a dynamic duel. And I know they had high hopes for Jalen Wright, and so far they're not panning out. But I would have kept Mostert on this football team. I would have kept Mostert on this football team. And shoot, maybe Mostert gets released, and maybe there's an opportunity to grab him from the Raiders. But I think we definitely need to add someone to the running back room. And depending on what Brian Robinson wants from Washington, or what Washington wants us to give up for him, I wouldn't be against making that move. I just wouldn't give up too much for running back. A few years ago, we could have had Saquon Barkley for a 5th-round pick. So I'm not giving up a 3rd-rounder or a 4th-rounder for Brian Robinson. It's just not happening. Yeah, Mostert did have fumble problems. He did have fumble problems. We definitely need the right tackle is definitely an issue, Timothy. The fact that Austin Jackson is still in a walking boot, that gets me super nervous. Let's not forget the right side is Tua's blind side. So we definitely need to address that. I think Ali Gordon overtakes that number 2 spot from Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright just hasn't been playing good. The defensive backs yesterday had a good day. Jason Marshall Jr. has really came on the last couple of weeks, looking really good. They got him playing in the slot. There's question marks about Mike Hilton because Mike Hilton doesn't practice a lot, but they're acting like Mike Hilton's a starter. But then they got Jason Marshall doing a lot of work in the slot. So what does that mean? I don't know. I don't believe that they're going to play Mike Hilton on the outside. They're not going to play Mike Hilton on the outside. So Jason Marshall taking most of his snaps at nickel, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. You got Jack Jones, who continues to improve. Ethan Bonner, he was having a good camp, but he's probably going to go on IR, right? But let's take a look at this final 53 as far as the team is right now. And again, hopefully this team makes some moves. And you tell me what you agree with and what you disagree with. All righty. We'll start with the quarterback position. Quarterbacks got Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Wilson, Quinn Ewers. We're going to keep 3. I know a lot of people are yelling and screaming for Quinn Ewers to overtake Zach Wilson as the number 2 quarterback. I don't think that happens strictly because of the contract. Zach Wilson had some really good throws at camp yesterday. So, do I think Quinn Ewers is ready to step in and be the number 2 quarterback for this football team? I don't know about that. Zach Wilson has some starting experience. Zach Wilson's got a talented right arm. It's just about him getting things right upstairs. I think we're in trouble if either one of these quarterbacks got to take any meaningful snaps. I think the Miami Dolphins are in trouble. If there's a quarterback playing, if there's someone other than Tua Tagovailoa playing quarterback for the Miami Dolphins this season, the Dolphins are in trouble regardless. The Dolphins are going to be in trouble regardless. Go the running backs. Devon Achane, Jalen Wright, Ali Gordon II, Alec Ingold, fullback. Obviously, Achane's dealing with the calf injury. Jalen Wright has underperformed. Ali Gordon has looked good, but that's with the 2s and 3s mostly. We definitely need to add someone. If Achane's not going to be 100% regardless by week 1, we need to add someone so Achane has an opportunity to get healthy. He's got to get healthy. What up, Dolphin Don? We definitely need to add another running back. Depends who's going to be available. This is a position that I think that we could find some real value after team cuts, right? After final cuts, that's where we can find some real value, especially at a position like running back. Wide receiver, a lot of these positions, you guys, it's pretty obvious who's going to make this football team. Wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Taj Washington, and D. Estridge. Listen, Taj Washington has consistently been able to make the first person miss. I've been very impressed with him in camp. D. Estridge also has looked really, really good in camp. I think Malik Washington should be the number 3. The only reason that he wouldn't be is because Nick Westbrook-Akine can bring a different. He's bigger, you know what I mean? And you don't want to have 3 guys on the football field at the wide receiver position under 6 foot. But I think Malik Washington has balled out this training camp. this is the 6 that I see making it. I would love Theo Weiss to be able to make this football team, but it's just not in the cards right now. It's just not in the cards. Tight ends, you got Darren Waller. He's going to be your starter. Tanner Connor, Farrell Brown, Julian Hill. Farrell Brown's not much of a receiver. Julian Hill, not much of a receiver, but they're very good blocking backs. Darren Waller and Tanner Connor are your 2 receiving threats. Hopefully Tanner Connor can stay healthy this year. Hopefully Tanner Connor does. Listen, Tanner Connor has a history of not showing up when the lights come on. He performs really well in off-season activities, training camp, this, that, and the third. But when you get to the regular season, he's either injured or just underperforms. We need him to step up this year. And then you got Darren Waller. Who knows what we're going to get with Darren Waller? He's very boomer bust. He could give you all pro season from the tight end position, or he could give you 20 catches or quit on the football team. So this tight end room is, I'm very interested to see what it's going to look like. Hopefully Darren Waller is able to get up to speed. Drew Rosenhaus's agent said he'll be ready to contribute week 1. We shall see. We shall see. Hopefully we get the old Darren Waller, not an old Darren Waller, right? This is where it gets a little interesting. Going to the offensive linemen, we got Patrick Paul, Jonah Savinaya, Aaron Brewer, James Daniels, Austin Jackson, which Austin Jackson has a really good chance of going on IR, unfortunately. Larry Borum, Keon Smith, who got hurt at practice yesterday, who left practice early yesterday, dealing with an injury, and Daniel Brunskill. Obviously, Liam Eichenberg is missing from this list. Andrew Myers is missing from this list. I believe both those players have they may start on injured reserve. Mike McDaniel said yesterday that neither of those players are anywhere close to ready to return. So I believe those guys are going to be on injury reserve to start the season. But again, Larry Borum, Keon Smith has been horrible. Daniel Brunskill, these guys are not good enough. The depth pieces on this offensive line are not good enough. I feel really good about Patrick Paul, Jonah, Aaron, James. I feel good about those 4 starters. And if Austin Jackson was healthy, I'd feel really good about our starting 5. Even though Austin Jackson hasn't been great, but he hasn't been horrible. If we could have these 5 healthy the whole season, I think we'd be successful. But chances are you're going to deal with injuries. We need to add some depth. We need to add depth. Facts. Defensive lineman, 1 got cut off here. I got Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and I got, it was tough. Zeke Biggers and Matt Dickerson both played very well. I'm going to go Zeke Biggers makes this football team. So I got Zach Sealer, Benito Jones, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and Zeke Biggers making this football team as defensive linemen. I love these young guys. Zach Sealer, you know what you're getting with him. I think Zach Sealer is going to have a huge season. Kenneth Grant's going to be able to eat up double teams. I think he continues to get better as the season goes on. If you go back and watch the Detroit Lions game, Kenneth Grant did a lot of things that didn't show up on the stat sheet, and that's what he's going to be good for. The penetration he gets, the eating up of double teams, the stunts the blitz stunts that they were running, and he was taking out guys so Zach Sealer, Chop Robinson could get to the quarterback. Kenneth Grant is going to do great things for this football team. Jordan Phillips, I believe he's going to continue to get better and better and better. Hopefully by midseason, end of the year, he's really contributing. Zeke Biggers is a big body defensive tackle that you can use in goal line situations, short yardage situations. Benito Jones, one of the same. They're your two really big boys down there that you want in the game when teams are knocking on the doorstep of scoring touchdowns at the goal line. What up, Frozen? Liam Eichenberg, wide receiver 1. Yeah, 7 people on IR. I mean, let's name them. Liam Eichenberg, Meyer probably. Who else? Ethan Bonner. That's 3. I think we should be under 7, Glenn. I think we should be under 7. Linebacker core. Oh, no, that's offensive lineman. Oh. Linebacker core. This is probably our deepest position on the football team. Matthew Judon practiced for the first time yesterday, had 2.5 sacks. Listen, the guy comes in, he's going to contribute for us this year. It's not that I was disappointed in that addition of Matthew Judon. Listen, I'm glad to have him. I just didn't think that it made sense that we're worrying about a linebacker, which is our deepest position on this football team, when we have other glaring holes that we need to address. And it's not like we have boatloads of cap room, and we're going to give this guy an opportunity to make $6 million this year. Again, I think Matthew Judon's going to help this football team. I just didn't think it made sense when we need a starting caliber corner. We need offensive line depth. So you got Jalen Phillips, Jordan Brooks, Tyrell Dodson, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Willie Gay Jr., Matthew Judon, KJ Britt, Quentin Bell. Now you got some guys that are going to miss that we're hopefully get to the practice squad. You got Grayson Murphy, Cameron Good, Mo Kamara. Those are all guys that you hope to bring back to the practice squad. I really wish we could get Cameron Good on here because he's a hell of a special teams player for us. But I mean, that's a lot of linebackers to keep. It's our deepest position. Obviously, the Miami Dolphins are focusing on getting pass rushers to the quarterback to help with the back end of our defense. The Miami Dolphins, I believe, truly feel that if we can produce enough of a pass rush, that it doesn't matter who we have in our defensive backfield. I really love this linebacker core, though. You know, Jordan Brooks and Willie Gay Jr., I think, are going to be your starting inside guys. And then your rotation of Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Matthew Judon. I think that's going to, they're going to be phenomenal. I think Chop Robinson has a 15 sack season. 12 minimal. Matthew Judon, I think he could have 8 to 10. Bradley Chubb, same. Jalen Phillips, maybe 10 to 12. Hopefully these guys stay healthy this year. Frozen says best linebacker set we've had in years. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Cornerbacks: Storm Duck, Kendall Sheffield, Mike Hilton, Jason Marshall, Ethan Bonner, Jack Jones. Listen, Ethan Bonner's probably going to IR. Um, who's that leave to take his place? Uh, we'll have to see. Maybe Cam Smith ends up making this team because of injury to Ethan Bonner. Cam Smith has played better in the last week or so. Since the Detroit game, Cam Smith has been playing better. So maybe he gets one last opportunity because of injury. I think if Ethan Bonner was healthy, Cam Smith would be out the door, but there's a good chance he still makes this football team because there's not really anyone else, right? There's not really anyone else. That idea can work out as long as edge rushers don't get hurt. You don't get gashed in running game. Yeah, Glenn, I think that works against some teams, but I think the elite coaches in this league, the elite quarterbacks in this league, that's not gonna fly. Eight to 10. Michael K. Who are you talking about? Because Matthew Judon had 5 sacks last year for Atlanta, and they dropped him in coverage a lot more than he ever has in his career. The year before that, he had 15 sacks. So he had one down year where Atlanta didn't use him the way that he was typically used to getting used. I thought he had 15 the year before that. And again, he's not the number one option. You're gonna have to pay attention to other guys. Matthew Judon's used to being the main pass rusher on a football team where teams dial in on him. Teams aren't going to be able to dial in on him. So I definitely see I see 8 sacks for Matthew Judon. No question. Edward, and maybe that's true, but I don't think the Dolphins are worried about that at this point. I don't think the Dolphins are worried about losing Cam Smith. Safeties: Minka, Ashton Davis. Ashton Davis not in a walking boot anymore. I think he'll be back sooner rather than later. Whether he's back week 1, that's debatable. But I don't think he gets on IR. Elijah Campbell, Afitu Malafanu, and Dante Trader Jr. Yeah, those are the safeties I think that make this team. Obviously, you got McMorris who can make the team, but I like Dante Trader Jr. These are the 5 that I think make the team. Punter Jay Bailey won the job. Stonehouse got released. Jay Bailey did outperform Stonehouse this offseason. I thought for sure Jay Bailey was a goner, but they kept him around for a reason. And looky, he's going to be a Miami Dolphin for at least one more season. Kicker Jason Sanders. Not really a question here. Jason Sanders was always going to be the kicker. For what it's worth, he's been awesome in training camp and off-season activities. And then to round out the team, you got long snapper Joe Cardona. Joe Cardona, long snapper. So yeah, that's your 53 as of right this moment. Again, I still think this team needs to make some moves. Offensive line depth is imperative, and getting a corner that I think we need two corners. I think we need two. I think you need a starter, a legit starter that you need to trade for. I'm not talking about Asante Samuel Jr. I'm not talking about Razul Douglas. I'm not talking about Gilmore. I'm talking a legit starter that you trade assets for. And then I think you need another one that is like Asante Samuel Jr. or Stephon Gilmore or Razul Douglas or Kendall Fuller. If we can add a starter and one of those three guys, four guys, I feel really differently about this cornerback room because I think if Storm Duck's your number three, Jack Jones, your number three, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. If we can add some offensive line depth, this team has an opportunity to be really, really good. But again, if we fail to address these positions, I think it's a matter of time before we truly get exposed. Next week, Tuesday, it'll feel like Christmas for NFL teams. Yeah, I'm super excited about final cuts. To see who becomes available. Obviously, players become available due to their contracts, whether they underperformed, whether teams are trying to go younger. The only thing is, typically, offensive linemen. Listen, good offensive linemen are hard to come by. I know there's one sitting at home right now, though, and we continue to wait, and before you know it, someone else might snatch him up. You go and you bring Isaiah Wynn back to this football team. We should have brought Kendall Lamb back. Why did we not bring Kendall Lamb back? I think that was a huge mistake. But this football team has that. All these players out there, all these people out there saying the Miami Dolphins are the worst team in the division. I just don't see it. A healthy Tua beats the bad teams, right? We have enough talent to beat bad teams. We got 5-6 games against bad teams. That's your 6 wins right there. And then you got a couple of games against all right teams. And then you have a few games against elite teams. And I think the only elite teams that we really play are Buffalo, Baltimore, and Washington. 3 elite teams. We play them all 3 of those games right in a row, unfortunately. We should have drafted a tackle. Yeah, it's hard because we gave up a lot of picks. We gave up a lot of picks in the middle rounds, right? I mean, to be realistic, we got Jonah Savinaya, and I'm happy with Jonah. I like Jonah. I think he's a very good player. But we really wanted Membu, right? We really wanted Membu, but Membu, we've seen that he was going to end up going too early, which was the case. He went in the top 10. But Membu was one of those players that could play tackle or guard. Big C, I hate to break it to you, but those bad teams we play also view us as a bad team. I don't believe that's not true. That's not true. How are we such a bad team, Miller? Like I don't get people's train of thoughts. First off, we went to the playoffs back-to-back years. Last year we were a playoff team except for the fact that our quarterback missed 6 games, so that cost us the playoffs. Yet we're this bad team. You act like we're the Cleveland Browns, or you know what I mean. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Well, Sean, regardless of what Members look like, coming out, he was a player that I think everybody would have wanted. I mean, people are concentrating that we missed the playoffs last year and we didn't look great. But people ignore the fact that our quarterback missed 6 games. You take any other team in this league and take their quarterback for 6 games, their team is going to look significantly different. How many games did the Bills win last year? 13? They won 13? Take Josh Allen for 6 games. How many games are the Bills winning? How many games are the Bills winning if you take Josh Allen for 6 games? And Sean, that's fair. That's fair that Tua misses time. But let's assume that Tua's going to be healthy, because these teams people are saying that even if Tua's healthy, this is a 6-win team or less. And I feel you, Sean. But all right, how many games are the how many games are the Ravens winning if Lamar Jackson misses 6 games? Yeah, I had people on AFC East Roundtable last night saying I don't see how they win 4 games with Tua healthy. Like what? What? We were an 8-win team with Tua missing 6, with Tyreek being hurt the whole year. People forget that Tyreek was hurt the whole year. People forget how bad our offensive line was last year. Scraping into the playoffs to get blasted doesn't make us a good team. Listen, it doesn't make you a bad team, though, Miller. It doesn't make you a bad team. It makes you a playoff team. Man, Tua threw 3 picks healthy against Buffalo, bro. Barely could reach us. Listen, Pagan, I'm not saying that you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. But Tua Tagovailoa, one thing he's good for is he's good for beating them bad teams. Now, when he was out for them 6, we lost to teams like Tennessee, Indianapolis, games that we could have won. You're absolutely right that he threw them 3 picks to Buffalo. That was a horrible game. And Tua does have a couple of those a year, right? He does have 1 or 2 of those a year where he just throws 3 picks. And last year it was Buffalo and Houston. Pittsburgh barely gets in the playoffs every year. Would you call them a bad team? No, I mean, how can you call them a bad team? Now, one thing that I seen Omar Kelly is, everybody is so hell bent on if Mike Tomlin gets released, he needs to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. But let's be real, Pittsburgh has had a lot of talent over there. They've had a lot of really good teams over there, and Mike Tomlin has not done. Mike Tomlin's won a Super Bowl, yes, but all the years over there in Pittsburgh with an organization that supposedly does the things the right way, that's all you've got. That's all you've got. I just don't see where, in my opinion, I'm going to get John Gruden if this season goes bad. I'm bringing John Gruden in. Not to mention John Gruden's already worked with Quinn Ewers. Now, was it just for a singular workout? Yeah, but they're familiar with each other. John Gruden knows exactly what he'd be getting in Quinn Ewers. Now, if you get John Gruden to come here and he's happy with Quinn Ewers and we don't have to go spend a high draft pick on a quarterback, and John Gruden truly believes that he can win with Quinn Ewers, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But I don't think John Gruden's he's not gonna fake the funk. But Steelers are in a hard division. I mean, are they though? They're in a division with Cleveland, who's typically bad. Cincinnati's got a good offense, but Joe Burrow misses a ton of time too. Cincinnati's got a dynamic offense, but their defense is horrible. And then they got Baltimore. We got Buffalo. That cancels out Baltimore. I would still draft a quarterback next year. Listen, I'm not saying you shouldn't. Funny enough, Tomlin only won that Super Bowl with previous regime built team, never been there since. And let's not forget, Mike Tomlin has had issues with unruly players, right? He had big issues with Le'Veon Bell, big issues with Antonio Brown. You know what I mean? I want Chris Shula. Hey, that Shula name rings bells here in Miami. He doesn't have multiple Super Bowls. He's got one Super Bowl. And it's not that I don't respect him. It's I just don't think he's as great of a coach as people try to give him credit. You know what I mean? Are we going to be happy if Mike Tomlin comes here and takes us to the playoffs every year, but we don't win a Super Bowl? Well, I mean, John Gruden just got cleared of all those charges by the NFL and stuff. Remember, he had the issues with the leaked emails and phone calls and stuff. He had like a lifetime contract with the Raiders, and they ended up firing him like a year after. But John Gruden's hungry, believe it. John Gruden's definitely hungry. I think Tomlin benefits from the system Pittsburgh has in place. I think the culture that Pittsburgh has as an organization that is there, whether whoever's the coach there, they got a certain culture and a certain way that they do business that they build teams and do things the correct way. They always have and they always will. I'd take Mike Shula as offensive coordinator of the Gamecocks OC. I personally don't want a college coach. The RPO has infected the college landscape. I'll take Gruden for head coach. Posse man, if only one can stay, Grayson Murphy, McClendon are good. I'm going to say McClendon. But to be fair, I don't think I capped either of those guys, any of them. That's how deep we are at linebacker. I capped Quentin Bell. That's why, let's be real, that's why the Matthew Judon trade didn't make a ton of sense for me. Gruden would definitely bring swag and attitude to the Dolphins. Absolutely. I truly believe that. There's rumblings around that Nick Saban wants another go. Now, I know he scorned us. But Nick Saban is a hell of a coach. Now, does it transform over to the pros? He wasn't very successful his first tenure here, but I mean, he wasn't here for only a cup of coffee. I mean, Juden's not guaranteed a roster spot, but I mean, the guy was dynamic yesterday in his first practice. He's making this football team. He had 2.5 sacks last year for us, or yesterday for us. I will quit being a Dolphins fan if Nick Saban comes here. Stop it. Not going to lie. I went to Pittsburgh last year, and you definitely feel the football atmosphere in that city. I wish Miami had those vibes. You got so many people that aren't native to Miami living in Miami, though, that come to Miami. Nobody goes to vacation in Pittsburgh. Those are people that have lived there and grinded there their whole lives. It's a hard-nosed town. You know what I mean? Hurt me once, shame on you. Hurt me, I can't get hurt again. Bush Jr. Show us on the diagram where they touched you, Miller. Show us on the diagram where Saban touched you. I'm breaking a table. We beat Buffalo in Buffalo. Pagan, you going to be at the game? Did you say that yesterday? You going to be there week 3, Pagan? Yeah, Richard, I don't know if I want a college coach. I think college football is so different, so very different from the NFL. And I know that college teams, yeah, I always go to Buffalo. It gets depressing. Did you get tickets with Roundtable Sports or no? Or are you going to their event the night before? I got to get a hotel. The price of the stuff is so crazy. The hotel room right now is $600 for 2 nights. I tried to get in on the Airbnb with the Roundtable Sports guys, but They said they didn't have no more room. Law of averages says we will beat Buffalo at some point. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're due one, right? We got to be due. The football gods, we got to be due. We got to be due one, right? Okay. Are you going to their event the night before though, Pagan? Or you don't rock out with them? I'm praying. I'm hoping and praying we get a win, that we can steal a win somehow, some way. I don't want to leave that stadium with all them Bills fans celebrating. I want each and every one of them to be a drunk, sloppy mess. Just regular ones. It's for two. Stay in Lancaster, Big C. Lancaster, New York. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll see you up there somewhere. I'm sure I'll be out in the parking lot with them guys somewhere. You should come find us. I think the start of next week I'm gonna see about doing some fantasy football. Let me know if any of you guys want to get in a league together. Do a couple mock drafts with the fantasy football thing. I know some of you that's not your cup of tea, but some of you like it. Kyle says, I still see this team improving from last year. I love how our draft picks are panning out. All of our selections could make this roster. Yeah, if Chris Greer would have been drafting like this his whole tenure, we'd be the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You know what I mean? We'd be the Philadelphia Eagles. If Chris Greer could have drafted like he did this year, every other year, this organization would be in a completely different situation. I mean, I mean, you can do whatever. I mean, typically I do $50 ones, and then first place gets money, second place gets some money, and third place maybe gets their money back. But I mean, we could do whatever anybody wants to do. I mean, if people want to do $100 one, or if people wanted, I mean, $25 ain't very much. I mean, typically I do a 10-team. I like to do a 10-person league, full point PPR. That's what I like to do. So I mean, $25, 10 people, that's only $250. That's not even really worth it if you know what I mean. I'd say 50 to 100. But let me know, people, that if you guys want to set one up, we can set up a private time to do our actual draft. But I'm gonna go over mock drafts and stuff next week. Roster cuts are coming next week. We got joint practice with the Jags today. Hopefully we get some cool and exciting news out of those practices. But yeah, that's what I got for today. Again, if you guys want to get down on fantasy football, let me know. We'll set something up. We can do a league together. It'll be a great time. And we'll have a lot of fun. Man, I would love to see Miami get a Super Bowl in my lifetime, bro. That's what I'm getting worried about. I always thought, I got my whole life. they gotta win one. They gotta win one before I die, right? And as I get older, I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm truly starting to get nervous. Maybe it will not happen. And can you imagine how depressing that will be? You're on your deathbed, and you know what I mean. And your team has never won a Super Bowl after you sat there and supported them forever and ever and ever. Oh man, I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about that because that shit it's turning my stomach. It's actually turning my stomach right now. Like it's making me feel sick. Like I need to vomit. The thought of that. All right, folks, I'm gonna get out of here. Oh, thanks a lot. You just made me sick. I'm 66, and the last one was in 1974. That's terrible, Richard. Terrible. Terrible. Shoot, we haven't even been to one since what, 84, 85? Absolutely terrible. All right, folks, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know what it is. Fins up. Peace.